Hello everybody. I'm very happy to be here, and first time I'm going to be a speaker. So that's a new thing for me, but I'll try my best. Being a musician, I'll just like to start with music, just 1 minute, and then I'll do the talking. Thank you for having me. Thank you. Thank you so much. So as you all know, I come from a tradition of musicians and a lineage of sitar players and surbahar players. Classical music is deeply rooted in our culture, in our traditions. It starts from the Vedas. And when classical music came, when ancient times, it got separated into three parts mainly: singing, playing, and dance. In India, mostly is divided into two forms of music. In the north is the Hindustani Sangeet, North Indian classical music, and in the south it's Carnatic music. I have a lineage of 8 generations. I'm the 8th generation of my gharana, which is the Itawa gharana. And to name a few, in my gharana there have been a few ustads in every generation. So if we say 7 generations before me, every generation has at least produced one maestro, one legend. Starting from Sarojhan Singh, Turab Khan, Saibdat Khan Sahab. Then came Imdad Khan Sahab. Imdad Khan Sahab made our gharana and our instrument very famous. He was the first famous personality of our gharana, very famous personality. Before, as you can see the sitar, before in our gharana was the surbahar. So what is the difference between surbahar and sitar? Surbahar is the father instrument of the sitar. It is bigger in shape. It has many strings, more strings than the sitar. It has deep sound. Mostly, as we say, the been ka rang is played through the surbahar. And later on, after Imdad Khan Sahab, as you can see, came 2 maestros, 2 legends of our gharana, Ustad Inayat Khan Sahab and Ustad Wahid Khan Sahab. Ustad Inayat Khan Sahab was the father of the legend Ustad Vilayat Khan Sahab. And he was the first person who started introducing the sitar in the mainstream for everyone. And he was playing more of the sitar, and his brother, Ustad Wahid Khan Sahab, my great-great-grandfather, was playing the surbahar. So Inayat Khan Sahab and Wahid Khan Sahab are also one of the big pillars of our gharana. Inayat Khan Sahab's son, Ustad Vilayat Khan Sahab, he is one of the biggest pioneers of our gharana. From there, the sitar came into the big screen, and he stopped playing the surbahar because earlier the slow parts and the deep parts were played on the surbahar, and for the faster parts and compositions with the tabla, they used to use the sitar. So they had to change the instrument while playing. After Vilayat Khan Sahab, what he did, he made a few changes in the instrument. So the current form of the sitar, as you can see now, mostly he has changed a lot of things in it. So from Vilayat Khan Sahab, even the slow part, Alap Jod Jhala, and the compositions and the tabla and everything with the tabla composition, Khayal, Jhala, started playing on the sitar. After Vilayat Khan Sahab, the next generation, Ustad Wahid Khan Sahab's son was Aziz Khan Sahab, my grandfather. He was a great composer, he was a great teacher, he was a master in himself, and he also composed for the old Bollywood songs. His name was Aziz Hindi. So if you go back and see some of his songs, he was a great composer, and all the great singers like Lata ji, Asha ji, Rafi Sahab, everyone has sung for him. And after Aziz Khan Sahab came my father, Padma Shri Ustad Shahid Parvez Khan Sahab. Slowly, he also started making some changes in the sitar according to his style of playing. Style of playing doesn't mean the whole gharana style. Style of playing is his own personal liking and disliking. So he made the sound of the sitar more round. He made the resonance louder. He made the sitar more curvier, and the sound became more sweet. But obviously it is hard to play. So that is his style of playing. And then I am trying to preserve, and I'm trying to keep the legacy going. Being in a musical family, everyone tells me, you are so lucky that he's your father, you know. I always tell them, you are more lucky. I'm anyways his son. You are no one, still you know him, you're sitting with him, you're playing, so you are more lucky. And my journey started when I was not even born. Because even when I was not born, I was listening to the music from my mother's stomach. And it was so, I don't understand. People ask me, when did you choose the sitar? Why did you choose the sitar? I always tell them, I didn't choose the sitar. Sitar chose me. So as a child, if I would talk about my journey a little bit, my father, when I was very young, my father came up to me and he gave me a small sitar, a toy sitar, and told me, okay, this is your toy and you have to play with this. And I was always, as any boy, as any child, I was amazed with my father what he was doing, and I always wanted to do what he was doing. He was playing the sitar. So I wanted to play the sitar. And being a child, I always used to sit with him whenever he was playing, on his lap, on his side. And sometimes what used to happen, he used to play this very deep and slow notes, and I used to sleep when he was playing. And he used to get very angry. Why are you sleeping? I'm playing. But that was because I found it so soothing and nice. There's a picture you can see where I'm staring up. It is because I was feeling sleepy. This is a concert where my father is playing with Ustad Zakir Hussain, and there are 5,000 people sitting in front. But when he started playing, I was like this, and I was down. For the whole concert, I was sleeping, and I woke up when I heard claps, when this concert ended. And that was one day when I got so, my dad really gave me a tonic, that this is not supposed to happen. You have to listen, you have to sit. Why are you on stage? So that's how we grew up. We had a very disciplined training. We had to play those many hours. We had to practice those many hours. And very disciplined. I wouldn't say strict. Strict is a negative word. But I think discipline. And there were only two things we used to do in life. Either go to school or play cricket. So if I wanted to play cricket, I had to play 3 hours. Then I'm allowed to play 2 hours cricket. If I want food, I need to play. Things were very clear. आप गाना बजाना करो, बाकी सारी चीज़ें आपको मिल जाएंगी. And that was the only goal, that was the only, one thing we had in mind, that we had to practice, we had to play, no matter what happened. I'll just go back and I want to tell you one small instance which is really close to my heart, because that, whenever I think about it, it really changes my life, about my father. So my father was 14 years old when his father passed away. And it's a very small instance, but I'd like to share it with you. My father was practicing, and 2 days later he had his first public concert, which was a big one in Delhi, and he was practicing for that. And my grandfather asked him to get something. He just went, came back in 15 minutes, and he sees a lot of people in the house, and he sees what happens. My grandfather is no more. So obviously losing a father is the biggest loss in this world. He had to do all the rituals he did, came home, had a shower, started practicing again, because he had his life's biggest concert in 2 days. This is how important practice is. This is how music is. It's our life. What we do is because of music. How we live, how we survive is because of music. That is what has been taught to us all our lives. And then coming forward, I played many concerts with my father, which is always very, very, very tough. But I think I've done okay, because no one has come back and said, "Acha nahi tha, they are fine." So I think I've done a good job. Moving forward, I would like to also add that in order to grow as a musician, I think not only your music, but you have to understand other kinds of music also, world music also. And in order to learn, you need to come together with foreign musicians, collaborations. My first foreign tour with a band was in 2003, 2004. A very interesting thing, I was playing in Kesariwada, classical concert, and an Austrian guy comes up to me, he was a drummer, and he says, "I love your music, and you need to play with me in my band." I was like, "What kind of music do you play?" He's like, "Jazz." I was like, "What? I've never heard jazz. What is jazz?" Because I was very young. I was 16, 17 at that point of time. We were just focused on all kind of music. He's like, I got scared. I was like, "No." Yeah, I had a thing that I'm going to go to Europe. I'll explore so many cities, so many countries. But I just told him straight on his face, I know nothing about jazz music, so I can't do this. He's like, "Don't worry, I've learned classical music, and we are going to compose things which are around some ragas, and you have to play your part." I was like, "You just send your music." When I heard it for the first time, I didn't understand anything. I was like blank. I was like, what kind of music is this? I didn't know. But I then said to myself that I need to learn if I need to grow as a musician. So I started listening to jazz music, and then when a little bit I got to understand about that music, I was amazed that there's so much else in the world, there's so much to learn all your life, that it is never ending. So that's how I collaborated. I played with so many foreign musicians, foreign bands, because I wanted to learn, not because of anything else. And whatever little I'm doing with my sitar, it's because of all that learning that I have today. Moving on, yeah, it's a privilege to be in a musical family. You get blessings of so many maestros, so many great people, so many legends. Pandit Shiv Kumar Sharma, Ustad Zakir Hussain. I also could get blessings of Pandit Bhim Singh Joshi ji, Ustad Vilayat Khasab. So it's just a great honor to be even related to such a family, which is such a huge, which has such a huge impact on Indian classical music on a whole. Moving forward, I would just like to say, I think the young generation needs to come closer to our roots, our music, and that interest is somehow for classical music is fading away, which we need to revive. And we need to preserve our culture, our tradition, how we teach, how we learn from our gurus, how we live. So I think if I would say revival, what is the theme? This is the theme of our speech. It is for the young people. They have to understand that first you have to understand your roots, your culture, who you are, how to learn music, how to do music. May it be sitar, may it be singing, may it be vocal, anything. But I need the young people to understand that please stick to your roots, stick to your tradition, because the whole world loves us because of that. And our tradition and our culture and our music is so pure and so huge and so large that I think no other culture or tradition or music in the world has such a big forte for everyone to do something or the other. And I also like all the parents, all the teachers also to make sure that a little bit of classical music or our traditional music should go into our children and the youth, so that it always remains as it is and the world loves us for what we do. Thank you so much.